Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Bill Say. I'm excited. I have not live streamed in a bit, and I have an event coming up. Maybe you will be interested. In Berkeley, California, near San Francisco, and I have a training in Worldwork coming up. Three-part training, three modest afternoons, Saturdays, September, October, and November in Worldwork. Worldwork. You think, what is Worldwork? Well, if you're not acquainted with this particular modality developed by Arny Mindell, it's kind of like what it sounds like. It's a way, there are many ways to work with world and social issues, but this is a way that lately, how I've been thinking about it, it's a way to enter into issues rather than simply talking about issues. And while it's certainly very important to talk about world and social issues, climate change, global tensions, political polarizations, racism, sexism, things like that, it's also, in my view, important to be able to go beyond talking to actually enter into the issue. You may say, you may ask, why would I possibly want to do that? Right? Yeah. Well, here's one reason why. I don't know about you, but when I talk to, friends and when I look at myself, in the face of many of these issues that I named, I think it's really easy to kind of throw up our hands and feel kind of helpless and hopeless about it and wonder, well, what can I possibly do about it? Good question. Very, very normal response. But here's the thing: our world needs our world needs us. Our world needs you. Our world needs me and what we can do to face some of these very severe challenges, right? And this is a way. It's not the only way, of course, right? There's a lot of different ways to involve ourselves and engage with the world for our collective betterment. How about that? Yeah, but this is a way. So in this course, I'm going to be focusing on three things. One is role awareness. I'll say a bit about that in a moment. A simple model of conflict, which can be helpful in all kinds of settings, in your relationships, family dynamics, organizational teams, etc. And then lastly, introducing rather, excuse me, the process work model conf, of rank and power. Excuse me. Process work. Let me say that world work is a submodality of process work. Process work is this larger umbrella of work that Arny Mindell and Amy, his wife, and a bunch of their colleagues from around the world have co-developed over a number of decades now to work with a whole array of individual issues, whether it's working with addictions or altered states of mind or relationship problems, organizational dynamics, and world issues. Yeah. And basically, process work, it's a complex modality, but one way to think about it, it's a way of trying to understand nature in its intended and anticipated, expected ways, but also nature arising in unintended and unexpected ways, and that includes in within our own bodies and minds. Our own nature as it emerges in planned and unplanned ways, but also how it emerges in our relationships and communal lives, etc. And amongst the different applications of process work is this large group diversity, conflict, and community building modality that we have been developing for the last 30, 40 years called world work. So, a little bit about roles, which I'm going to be addressing in the first afternoon. Roles can be thought of as positions or perspectives and short or long term. And if you think about, yeah, there's those structured roles like president or administrator, parent or child, student or teacher. Yeah, those are structured roles, really important. But then there's all these informal roles that pop up unbidden. For example, in many settings, there's somebody who's like a kind of likes to stir up trouble. Yeah. There's often a critic involved. There can be somebody who's like a caretaker. There can be a scapegoat who comes along, et cetera, a rebel, et cetera, et cetera. And then associated with the different issues that come up in life and in our immediate and more general settings, there are important issue or roles tied to those issues that we can meaningfully explore and address and begin to understand how they affect the issue, how they perpetuate the issue for better and for worse. And that is one powerful way how we can enter into the issue by starting to identify, bring awareness to the roles that are involved, and vivify them, explore them, express them, find them within ourselves, switch roles, etc. Very dynamic, very powerful work that's again is applicable in many, many kinds of settings, whether familial or organizational or societal or global. Um, the next training is going to go into a simple model of conflict, which can be really helpful in our relationship life, whether we're having a subtle tension or overt conflict, um, with somebody in our organizational team, with our friend, with our spouse, family member, or it's really important to have a model of conflict for working on these big collective issues because there are tons of polarities and tensions involved, and how are we going to go forward in life, how are we going to address some of these big issues if we can't as a species as a people as individuals somehow address differences. So this is a model that I find very helpful that I'll be introducing in the second training. And then last but not least, we're going to look at rank and power model and how that can be utilized in our different relationships and work settings and families. And if you think about world and social issues, power is just part of it, for better and for worse. And bringing awareness to power dynamics and how a greater awareness of those rank dynamics can actually leverage power for for betterment, for better relationships, for better understanding, for better relationships, even when there is a structured power difference, for example, between parent and child, manager and managee, etc. So that's a little bit about it. Let me just check for a moment, see anything else. Hmm. I think I'm modeling here. One of the other things that I really like teaching, I like practicing, is going inside because the inner world is arguably as vast, as complex as the outer world. And if we really learn to work with our inner process, we can have enhanced outer relationships and outer communication dynamics, etc. So that's another thing I'll be introducing in the course. How do you work with things inside of yourself to enhance your communication, relationship outcomes, etc.? Okay, all right. Hope that's helpful. Any questions, hit me up and look forward to hopefully seeing you in Berkeley for the training. Okay, bye for now.